Hello there, Ray here, and in the game of Minecraft there is over 76 unique mobs. And in the video where I covered 14 secrets with 1.17 powder snow, I showed that mobs can spawn directly inside of it. But which mobs can you use this on, and how effective is it compared to past mob farms? And remember to subscribe as I make hundreds of videos showing outrageous things that you can do in your survivor world that will surely impress your friends. Let's take a look at spawners, because there's only a limited number of mobs that are produced from these things. I'm using the new tinted glass so you can see through it, yet it is completely dark inside of here. This is a skeleton spawner here, and the typical kind of spawner setup is that the mobs spawn in the air, you kind of wash them to a central killing location. I just swapped out the killing chamber with powder snow. You can already see some problems. It's extremely slow at killing the skeletons. The powder snow mobs don't take damage until after 15 seconds of standing in it, and then they only take damage every 3 seconds. A much faster killing method would be a campfire or even a soulfire campfire, which does even more damage and also doesn't destroy the loots. Plus, these make it easy to collect the items directly with a hopper right underneath of it. Another problem is that mobs that have leather boots can stand on top of the powder snow. This is one of the features that go along with it. And it doesn't matter what difficulty you use, even easy difficulty will eventually have some mob that has leather boots. Now, one area where it could be useful is having it kind of sit right here on the side of the spawner. Because it is a non-colliding block, means mobs can spawn directly inside of it, but mobs can also try pathfinding to it and then end up falling through it. Now currently there's a bug where mobs have trouble pathfinding over top of it. That will be fixed in future versions. This will allow you to not place blocks in here, which will free up some more places for them to spawn around the spawner without having to worry about mobs standing on top of the spawner. Now in this setup here, the water is close enough so that they can hop down to it, but in some cases it is like more of a drop. Like over here I have a blaze spawner, and if blazes would spawn on top of this, they wouldn't just normally path off of it, even though they don't take fall damage, because they're just like any other mob, they're afraid to fall downwards. Now you could kill them at the location, but then you wouldn't get their loot, so it is best to kind of put off to the side, make them think they can walk over here and end up falling through it. And we do want to keep the mobs away from the spawner, because if there is 6 mobs within a 9 cubed area centered around this, it won't produce any more. And that's why we're dropping them down quite low. Now with this blaze farm here, I just have them drop down, and I'm using their AI, a little trick that Redstone Jazz showed many years ago, that mobs will try to pathfind to other areas outside the farm. Now they are trying to pathfind through here and hop down these little stairs, and then there's all these barrier blocks down here that they think they can walk to. In this case, they think they can go through these trapdoors, but instead they're going to end up getting aligned and fall down through this powder snow. And I have this set up a certain way, so there's powder snow and then there is cobweb. And having it like this, we can make them sit in the powder snow for a certain amount of time, because it takes 15 seconds for them to start taking damage. Normally if they would go through the powder snow, it would be pretty fast because it doesn't slow them down as much as the cobweb. By using a combination with the cobweb, we can get their health down quite low. Let's set this one up here so that once they reach the bottom, they should have exactly 1 health. So it does take a little while, but once they get down here, if we go ahead and check their data, you will see that he has 1 health left, equivalent to half a heart. So you can easily kill him with like a single water potion or just punching him, and then all the loots are being collected by this hopper here. And this would be a really cool way to consistently get mobs to a certain amount of health so you can kill them. But I noticed there's a problem that it's not consistent, something to do with how the game applies the freezing effect. Despite the mobs coming in at the same speed and ending up at the bottom at the same speed, sometimes they make it and sometimes they die inside of it. But maybe in the future you can actually make something like this to consistently get them down to 1 health. The powder snow is very unique in that mobs can move through it while getting damaged. They don't need like any kind of timing system where you crush them for a while and then release them. And you can also put this into any dimension. Now another spawner is zombies. Here we have a little bit different setup where we have them spawn directly into the powder snow. And then they freeze and their loot falls down here. We can pick it up with some hopper minecarts underneath. The problem with zombies is the same as skeletons, is that they can spawn with leather armor. So this can prevent them from falling in altogether. And also if they spawn with a full set of leather armor, they're not supposed to take any damage from the freezing effect. The powder snow is not effective for zombies or skeletons. Over here I have the magma cube spawner. These are one of the new ones added in 1.16. This is the little setup that I showed you guys in the video how to make a magma cube farm from the spawner. In this up here, all the magma cubes are attracted to this iron golem and get killed by the wither roses, and loot gets picked up down below. Went ahead and switched this out with some powder snow. I made it so that they fall plenty far, so they're no longer inside of the spawner checking range. They also can't jump very high because powder snow don't really let them jump up, but it is a very slow killing method. And once these guys do take a lot of damage and split, their new mobs that are produced have to take that 15 seconds of getting chilled down before they start freezing all over again. Every stage has to do that. And then underneath that we have some hopper minecarts going around and picking up the loot. The downside to this is just the amount of room you have to cover with powder snow. And it only comes in essentially single blocks. You have to have like inventories and inventories full of this stuff just to fill this area right here. And even if you use like my automatic powder snow farm, it still takes a while to obtain powder snow. Next up, we got a silverfish spawner. These you can find in strongholds. Now, something interesting about silverfish is that they don't drop any items. They only drop XPs. But what's even cooler yet with these guys is that they're actually immune to falling through powder snow. Silverfish, endermites, and rabbits are the only ones that can do this. Unless you wouldn't want to kill them this way because most likely you want to get the XPs. Powder snow is no good for them. Over here we have a spider spawner. These guys need a little bit different room to spawn in, but they do fall through the powder snow and die from it. And because these guys are kind of big, like their hitboxes, do F3 plus B, you can see how big they are. You don't really need powder snow everywhere for them to be touching it. Any point they touch just a little bit of it, they will freeze. If you have it spaced out, you can use a lot less, yet you can still kill them at the same speed. And underneath we have some hopper minecarts picking up the stuff, but something unique about spiders is that on hard difficulty, they can have different effects on them. One of them is regeneration. Regeneration, they'll be able to regen faster than the snow can do damage to them. You don't want to be using this on hard difficulty. And some of you guys ask, can spiders climb up this? But since it's actually just like walk through, they can just walk through it like any other mob. When it comes to using powder snow and mob spawners, there are some cases like the Blaze farm using it for a timing damaging system to give them low health without them being killed is useful. Making them spawn directly inside of it is not, because spawners, mobs can spawn mid-air. You can just drop them down to some water and push them into a central killing location. But mob spawners are one of the unique cases where mobs can spawn in mid-air. In most cases, they have to spawn on something or in something. And right here we have some water. So I was wondering, maybe if squid like spawn inside of here, they would kind of get pushed upwards and get stuck in the snow layers and freeze. You can make some type of squid farm using this. And here's a dolphin and squid farm that I made. It's really simple. There's just magma bubble columns pulling them down, and they take damage from the magma. At least the dolphins do very quickly. The problem with squid is they try to fight it. Now, even though they fight it, they do swim down and touch it once in a while and will eventually die. They could use this as a squid farm, but I have a much more efficient squid farm that also doubles as a kelp farm. And I would recommend you building that. But this is a really cool way to get dolphins to die. There goes a dolphin right there. He just immediately gets pulled down to the magma, and yeah, he's gonna die. So let's see how well it actually works for like a dolphin or a squid. There is a squid, and yeah, he's jumping all over the place. The game has this weird bug where it doesn't show the squid in the proper location. Let's do a dolphin. Both of them can spawn the same way. And where is the dolphin? Ah, there he is. I found him. So yeah, the dolphin, it works pretty good. He gets pushed up inside of it. Looks like inside of it. He is taking damage. Awesome. And the loot from the dolphin kind of sits on top of the water. It's in a really weird location to try to be collected. You can see the squid doing this weird glitching thing where it looks like he's coming through, but he's actually not touching it at all. So it's still not very effective on squids, and even if you would kill stuff inside of it, the items just end up in a location you can't pick them up. Now there is some other different water creatures, like other types of fish, but this really simple fish farm that I made here is just so stinking efficient at pulling these guys down and killing them. There's just no way that powder snow could compete with this farm. And it's like, you know, not really much to it. And with other water mobs like drowns or guardians, there's just easier and more effective farms, which I've linked in the description. But there's actually a lot of creatures in the game of Minecraft, and a big section is passive mobs. And in the tricks video, I showed that passive mobs could spawn directly on top of this since it doesn't kill the grass. You could have a large area of grass with powder snow on top, and the mobs would just spawn in, it would die, and you can pick up their loot with hopper minecarts underneath. But you can actually do even more. You can actually prevent certain mobs from spawning in. Like if you put a trap door here, llamas won't be able to spawn in, but cows can. If you put like an end rod like this, sheep can spawn in, but cows won't be able to, or anything bigger, including like horses. And if you put like a glass or slab, then pigs can spawn in, and smaller stuff, but nothing bigger. Now for passive mobs, powder snow isn't the worst solution because these guys have relatively low health and they don't spawn in very quickly. They only attempt to spawn in every 20 seconds, where like a spawner tries to spawn them in between 10 and 40 seconds. If you don't kill them at the time, the spawner's not going to produce as many. So it might seem like you got a little more time with cows, but the problem is it takes 15 seconds for the freeze effect to even start damaging them. And then it only does 1 health every 3 seconds. The most passive mobs have 10 health, and even to kill this takes over 40 seconds. You could use this as a farm, but it wouldn't be as effective as like washing the passive mobs into another portal, like the passive mob farms that we designed on the ProtoTech server. Now some of the very small mobs like rabbits, fox, and chickens have low enough health that you could make it somewhat efficient. And you could get these guys to spawn in if you had a trapdoor way down here. It'd be in the same area as where the powder snow is. So you could prevent most mobs from spawning, but you still end up getting pigs, which do take over 40 seconds to kill. Now some mobs spawn in special cases, like turtles. They can actually spawn on top of sand, so can desert rabbits. You could use this to kill them. Also things like parrots and ocelots spawn in things like leaves and jungle logs. They don't really drop anything useful. Polar bears are also able to spawn on top of ice, but they really don't drop anything that useful, and it is a very slow method of killing them. Over here we have a dark box where hostile mobs can spawn inside of. Now another hostile mob that we have problems killing with powder snow is the witch, because they can drink their health potions. They'll never die from this very slow way of killing them. And it'd be way easier just to build my simple witch farm that doesn't even use any redstone. And we also have the same problem of skeletons and zombies spawning here with complete leather so they won't die. Now we can actually avoid all 3 of these mobs by putting in a trapdoor. That way we only get creepers to spawn in here. Now these guys will die from the powder snow, and we don't have to worry about any other mobs spawning in here besides spiders. And spiders will also die from the powder snow. Or you could put down some blocks to prevent them from spawning. So this could be a way you can make a gunpowder farm. But they have a lot of health, so it's going to take a long time to kill them. But when it comes to getting gunpowder, it's really hard to beat my raid farms, which not only produce gunpowder, but almost produce over 80 unique items all at once. Now when it comes to stuff like a hoglin farm in the Nether dimension, powder snow would be expensive and also time consuming compared to the current farms I've designed for them. Like this really simple one here that can even supply a server with more pork chops so you know what to do with. And when it comes to other farms in another dimension, like pigment farms, they'd be so slow if you depended on powder snow to kill them, and it'd be so difficult to collect their loots. There's kind of a trade-off between killing mobs fast and being able to collect all their loots in one location easily. Even something like a nether fortress farm, where mobs like wither skeletons, blazes, magma cubes, and zombified piglins, have them spawn inside of this, would kill them, but you wouldn't get the blaze loots, which are the most important besides the wither skeleton ones. But for wither skeletons, you can just use my simple wither skeleton farm here, which will produce you more wither skulls than you have use for. And in this world here, I have all the mobs in the game Minecraft as well as blocks sorted by their different shapes. You guys asked some questions like, how would an ender dragon deal with the powder snow? Well, they would just break it. Same thing goes with like withers. And endermen don't really treat the powder snow as like water. They don't teleport away from it. You could use like powder snow instead of an iron golem farm, but it would take so long to kill them because they have so much hearts. Same thing for like a ravager. And powder snow isn't actually a block mob that spawn on top of. It wouldn't make it so that we could have the raid farm spawn on top of it and just fall through into our killing chambers. But you can use a method that CheaterCodes showed where they'll actually spawn on top of snow layers and fall through it, which is what we're using for our fast emerald farm. Slimes are similar to magma cubes. They take a long time to kill because of all the splitting. Elder Guardians are in water. There's a lot of mobs that are very similar. Now, one thing you could use a powder snow for is to kind of slow down mobs when they come after you. If a piglin brute is coming towards you, you can make them walk through the powder snow and try to slow them up a little bit. Nice thing is it's easy to pick up and place down again. Something like a cobweb would be more efficient, but you couldn't like pick it up as easy. But since they do take damage from lava, the lava bucket trick that I showed I would think is the best. The same thing of slowing down mobs could also be used for like villagers if they're running around a lot and you're trying to slow them down. If you don't have a slowness potion or a boat, you definitely use the powder snow. Currently in the snapshot, snow golems and other cold biome stuff still die from powder snow. It'll probably change in the future. Now, one we haven't talked about is striders. You could easily put this powder snow above lava where these guys spawn in and kill them. They wouldn't be able to collect their string as it would fall directly into the lava. A lot of different types of passive mobs. Something like a shulker wouldn't even spawn inside the snow layer because it doesn't consider it air. Smaller mobs do often have less health and die from it more quickly. They also usually don't give you very good loot. You guys did ask how like something like a bee or a phantom would handle flying through it. It seems like they kind of fly very slowly through it, but they eventually make it out. Here's a phantom. Looks like the phantom's having trouble getting out. Like he's having trouble like pathfinding out of it. But since you only get phantom membranes from player killed phantoms, it wouldn't be very useful. Vex will also just fly through it, but they would take damage if they stayed in there long enough. When it comes to using powder snow for a mob farm, the slow killing method just doesn't compete with faster farms like an underload, where the mobs are immediately teleported over into the Nether dimension, making it the fastest type of farm in the game. And I use this technique in a wide variety of mob farms. But powder snow cannot also really compete with the simpler farms, and acquiring the powder snow bucket is tedious and slow, where most simple farms kind of depend on AI of mobs to kill themselves. Also, once a mob is killed by this, the loots are usually scattered across the whole location of where the mobs are killed, and the best current way to obtain items this way is using Khappa minecarts. Maybe in the future they'll have some new block that can pull items from quite far away, but until then, we're left with unreliable minecarts. I definitely think powder snow does have its place in the game for like unique contraptions where it take advantage of the slowness and the damaging effect. We're trying to do multiple stuff in a small confined area. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this down in the comments, and let me know if you have any ideas on how they can improve powder snow, make it more useful in mob farms. As always, don't forget to leave a like on the video as well as share with others, and I provide the world download to take a look at all these farms as well as links to everything that I talked about in the video, all down in the description. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next one. Bye bye.